Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All for United. We're tonight for the Europa League preview for our trip to Cyprus tomorrow against Omonia Nicosia. I think I'm saying that right. I apologise hugely if I've butchered it. But yeah, I've got Stu, I've got Hammer and Anton with me for tonight's preview. And as we lost the first game in the group, guys, I think it's one that feels important. Well, every game in this group feels important now, I would say, because you would think that Sociedad are going to win most of the games, if not all of them. So we kind of got to match them, and it looks like we kind of got to go to Sociedad and win if we can match them along the way. So it's kind of forcing Ten Hag into strong squads, I would say, Stu. He may have done it anyway, but I think the situation has been forced upon him in the sense that he does want to win these games. We don't want the extra game where we have to play off against a third place Champions League side, causing a fixture pile up. So, you know, it's gone strong again. I mean, just to go through the squad quickly, if anybody's not seen it today, it got released earlier on. So it's De Gea, Tom Heaton, Dubravka, then Lindelof, Martinez, Malacia, Dalot, and Shaw. Midfielders: Fernandes, Eriksen, Fred, Casemiro, McTominay, and Iqbal, and then Ronaldo, Martial, Rashford, Antony, Sancho, Pellistri, Elanga, and Garnacho. So, you know, a lot of big names there. Not a lot of youngsters, which we thought may have been at the start of the season. Maybe we thought a lot of the younger lads would be featuring more heavily, but you know, it's just Iqbal and Garnacho, arguably. So, yeah, would you agree that that's the kind of the situation he's in? I mean, he says he wants to compete in everything and he wants to win every game. Like, but he's going to say that, isn't he?
Well, I look. The players have got to look at themselves in the mirror yet again, haven't they? And this is the trouble. We keep saying this. You come off the back of a pretty poor performance. I'm not saying that City were bad by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, we just didn't do ourselves justice on Sunday, and so you've got to go again. And it's important that we win all our matches now in the Europa League. That's it. You're absolutely right. We don't want to have to face Barcelona, which I believe we can, as a playoff, because you know, we're not playing well enough to beat them right now. Not that Barcelona are playing scintillating football, but we're just not playing well enough to beat them. And I know Ten Hag's been pretty vocal, hasn't he, that you know, the mistakes have got to stop. He was quite critical about the players not adapting to what he was trying to do, not listening to what he was trying to do, as per usual. And so I think Ten Hag's in this stage with the squad where he's kind of trying to juggle keeping them on side, but at the same time getting the very, very best out of them. So my message to the squad is they need to grow up. They need to stop whinging and moaning when things don't go right and start playing football. They need to start going back to the basics of what they were paid to do in the first place, and that is play football. And we just seem scared as a team still. We just seem inverted when we need to be extroverted as a unit, and it's quite worrying, really. And I think Ten Hag's slowly but surely getting fed up with the types of players like Bruno, who's just lazy at the moment. He's nowhere near the player that we saw 18 months ago. He's worried about, you know, Rashford. Rashford hasn't got that clinical head on his shoulders because he's lost that turn of pace. Yeah, he was injured for 9 on 2 years, but he's not got the back, and he's still a young lad. You know, and he's got to look at these, and these players have got to look at themselves and think, right, well, we've got to do a job on Nicosia. We've got to beat them 4-5, 6-0. We've got to do a job because we come home from a poor result in Nicosia by snatching a 1-0 or a 2-0, and we're going towards a very difficult game on Sunday. So these games on a Thursday night are really pivotal to get us back to winning ways. So you can't take any prisoners in that dressing room now, because I'm fed up of looking around these players, and most of them are just going through the motions. They're not doing anything that warrants a first team shirt at Old Trafford in a minute, and it's pretty poor to be fair. So I feel a bit for Ten Hag. I don't know what's happening with Varane. I presume Varane's injured.
Just to clarify on that one, he said Varane would be back quicker than the others, but Maguire and the others, he doesn't know how long they'll be. So, yeah.
And it's come at the wrong time for Maguire because Maguire could have cemented his his place back in the side. So it's come at the wrong time. But it was always going to happen with Varane. This was just an accident waiting to happen. And so Ten Hag's got to look at that, look at his situation, and wonder about how he could have handled that better. So he's got problems. Ten Hag has. The players have got problems themselves. They've got to step up to the plate now. And if you want to play for Manchester United, you've got to start, looking like a Manchester United player. And unfortunately, we're just not there yet. So troubling times, I'm afraid. Troubling times.
Strong words from Stu. Hammer, how are you feeling about seeing these sorts of squad? I mean, obviously we've reeled off all the names there. There's only maybe 4 or 5 players that are missing from that. Was this kind of thing you're expecting to see? And do you think he would have kind of gone down this path of picking strong teams anyway, regardless of that first result? Because he said in his press conference today that he does want to win every game, and he doesn't treat any game differently, which sounds like he's not going to rotate very much anyway. And I think I don't think he's got much of a history of rotating anyway. So are you happy to see that? I mean, there's a lot of games in October as well, isn't there, to think about?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with certain things Stu was saying, and I'm not surprised to see it, because I think at this point now we're struggling at certain points, right? Like I know we had some big games, but I'm pretty sure I even saw he basically said that the city situation that happened was basically a little bit of a reality check, because us as fans included, we're getting a little bit too cocky with with some of the wins that we were winning on. So this was just a reminder that we can say we're making some progress, but there's a hell of a lot more progress to make. So I'm not surprised by the strength. I mean, at this point, if we're going to be struggling against the bigger teams in the league right now, then there is a question of, okay, are we even going to be in that position to qualify for Champions League? So it goes back to when it was a few years ago when we won the Europa League, that, listen, we need to go to try to win this trophy, because we need whatever avenue it ends up being, we need an avenue back in the Champions League. And then, I mean, I think, like you said, though, or someone you said, maybe some of the injuries too also has to play a part in this, right? I think already 2 center backs in there right now that you read off was Lindelof and Martinez.
Yeah.
So, he has to go with who he has as well. And then also, I think he is still looking at some of the team, and like Stu said, he's starting to get fed up with some of them. And now he's probably looking at, not necessarily who can get and learn my system. Now he's probably looking at who the hell is still going to be here past these next 2 transfer windows. So I think that's what part of the strength is as well. He needs to figure out who he's going to still be keeping as his time moves on at Manchester United. But yeah, I mean, it's a necessary thing for the strength, because we need to win whatever trophies or whatever positioning we end up getting. And what frustrates me a little bit, though, is that they need to answer, but I'm not trying to be an asshole either. I know it's Europa League, whatever. It's not a massive team. We should go into this, whatever the strength is, to get the dub. But I don't want any of us to, have them have a reaction because we played so bad against City. They play well, get the win, and be like, people start saying, okay, maybe now we get back on track. No, we need some weeks of consistency for us to believe that we're back on track.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, obviously any kind of win in Cyprus tomorrow isn't going to mean that we're back necessarily. But I mean, on the other hand, Anton, we'll come to you now. Well, I mean, he seemed a bit annoyed about the players not taking his instructions and kind of going against his rules and principles, as he put it in his press conferences after the game and today. So it's a chance to reinforce that side of things, at least, isn't it? And get back into a bit of momentum, because like we mentioned last week, we've had a month off, and maybe them standards and them principles have kind of drifted a little bit while the players have been off on international duty. We speculated about that last week, and I think we kind of saw that on Sunday, without going too much into Sunday. But yeah, tomorrow's a good chance to kind of get that back again, would you say?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, obviously the break that we had did take away all the momentum that we gathered with the 4 wins in a row. And we have to remember as well, we've only won 1 game in the Europa League out of 2. Of course, we lost against Sociedad. We beat Sheriff. Look, tomorrow against the Cypriot team, we are going to win. I'm not even thinking about the possibility of even drawing tomorrow. But I think that, especially with Varane out, he had a sprained ankle. I think he blocked a shot and sprained his ankle. That was the injury. The partnership is going to be Martinez and Lindelof. I don't know who's going to play and go on. I don't know if McTominay is going to start, but I did see something on Twitter. I don't know if it was an actual direct quote because there was a lot of tension surrounding it. He was saying like Scott McTominay is I'm paraphrasing now. He was saying Scott McTominay is going to be playing because we won 4, which he played. We lost against Sociedad, which he didn't play, or something along those lines. So after demolition, it was a demolition derby, wasn't it, against Manchester City? We might see Scott McTominay play again because he's used to Scott McTominay being in winning sides since he's come here. I would like to see Casemiro play because I feel like, especially in a match like this, a European game with all the experience he has and, of course, the quality that he possesses, I believe he should play, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Scott McTominay play. It's a chance for the team to get back to winning ways. I can't remember who said it, but I don't want it to be a 1-0 because I feel like if it's a 1-0, it just means that we haven't either tried or we haven't played well enough. Also, it might mean that we're not, again, following Erik ten Hag's instructions, which obviously when we do so, we play better. I do want to see a 5 or 6-0, although I don't think it will happen because we don't really do that. We haven't done that in a long time. But I just want to say, with the youngsters, Garnacho, the under-21s played against Barrow the other day. And I know it was Tom Huddleston playing. I still don't understand that. But Garnacho, he's got the pace, he's got the direct play, he's got the finishing ability, I think, to come in a match like this and play alongside an Anthony and Martial up front and actually cause problems. I don't know if Ronaldo's going to play. To be perfectly honest, I'm a bit bored of the Ronaldo thing now. You can clearly see it's winding down, and I think that he's kind of falling down the pecking order. He's obviously behind Rashford and Martial in the striker role already, and he's obviously not going to be deployed on the left. So the team's going to be interesting. I kind of want to see Garnacho play, although I don't think he will. McTominay, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts, and I think it is an opportunity for Lindelof to stake a claim to start some games because Maguire's out, obviously. Ten Hag did say Varane should be back by Everton, but you never know. Something could happen. So Lindelof has to put in a good performance.
Yeah, we'll come to the players that are missing and the missed opportunities later, but Lindelof is one that definitely has a chance to at least put himself ahead of Maguire, possibly, even if he's not going to get himself ahead of Varane in the pecking order. And like we know, Varane does get injured, so it's worth being next in line because you're probably going to get plenty of opportunities. On the Casemiro thing, that was going to be our next topic anyway, so we'll get on to people's thoughts on that one. But yeah, I don't think he necessarily said that McTominay is playing, but he said he reiterated that there's been no reason to change him because he's been, we've won 5 out of the 6 games that he's played in. So I don't necessarily think that it means he's nailed on at this point, and they did lose with him in the side this time. So is this maybe the changing of the guard, shall we say, Stu? Is this where it happens?
Well, first of all, welcome to our Omonia fan. Great to have you with us. Give us some insight about your club if you can. Pop some stuff in the comments and let us know a bit about the club. Let us know what we can expect because we don't know a great deal about you. So it'd be quite interesting if you just give us a little bit of feedback about the club. Be great. Is it the changing of the guard? Well, it should have been a changing of the guard ages ago, in my humble opinion. McTominay has done pretty well this season, but what baffles me is you see an experienced manager in Ten Hag not playing experienced play in a game of that magnitude. Completely baffle me. He did his due diligence about the players. He did his due diligence about how the season went last season. He's told us all of this, and yet how much due diligence has he done about Scott McTominay? And that's what you've got to ask him, because yes, he's done well in these games, but you need a cool head in a game like City. You need a cool head, a player that's played against City, on 3, 4, 5 occasions recently and come out on top on those occasions. You need somebody who can just get the ball down and play. Now, we all know that McTominay is okay sporadically. Sporadically isn't any good when you're pulling on the shirt of Manchester United. I've said this time and time again. It's exactly the same with Bruno. It's exactly the same with Rashford. And Sancho as well, to an extent. You can't pull on that red shirt and have one good game in 7. You've got to be on it, period. You're at that club for a reason. You're at an elite football club. You're supposed to be an elite player, and you've got to demonstrate that. We know Casemiro is an elite player. Yes, you could argue that he's had the crooner alongside him, and of course Modric, 2 of the best midfield players in world football. But I said this about Varane, as Hammer will verify. I said, Varane's had Pepe alongside him. He's had Ramos alongside him. And this is the thing. You've got to trust a £70 million player or a £60 million player who's played in Champions League finals. You have to trust these people. You got to go on their pitch and say to him, do what you do best. Break that play up. Start just knocking the 2, 3, 4 yards. Give it to Eriksen. Give Eriksen the freedom that he requires, which will then unlock Bruno a bit more. When you've got somebody like McTominay in there, you can't trust him. You can't trust him to be your deep-lying player because he's too rash on occasions. He's not got the passing ability, short or long. On occasions, he looks good, admittedly. So for me, Casemiro should have been in 3 weeks ago. He's got to be in tomorrow night, and he's got to play Sunday. And I wouldn't rest him. Ten Hag's got to take the hard decisions now. You've got to be ruthless in football. We have to be ruthless. And so much so that, like goalkeepers, they understand you'll take the team to the semi-final, and then they're ousted for the number 1 for the final. You've got to be ruthless. It's time McTominay was put down as a squad player and Casemiro comes in. Casemiro is going to need this run of games. He's going to need this October. He has a good World Cup. He comes back in December and we kick on with him. But it's time to remove the McTominay out. And I don't give a damn whether he's been in a winning team for 4 matches. He was shite on Sunday. Well, the rest of the team were as well.
Yeah, everybody was.
Let's not just pin him out. But he was absolutely woeful, and you can't have that anymore. So I just want Ten Hag now to rip up the form up, and say, right, I'm going to start trusting you now, pal. And we'll see what happens. But that would be my thoughts.
Yeah, I think everybody's had a different opinion on whether Casemiro should come in at any point during this run. I mean, at the start when he came in, he did look a bit rusty. He didn't look quite up to speed. But now he's had quite a few weeks of training with the squad, hasn't he? So, what are your thoughts? Ham, are you team McTominay? Are you wanting Casemiro now?
No, I'm definitely Casemiro. McFred as a whole has been off my nice list for a very long time, and I think along with a lot of other Manchester United fans. I think. Oh, how you doing, man? I think bringing in somebody like how you doing? I think bringing in somebody like Casemiro is important, especially like Stu was saying, when you want to talk about Ten Hag. I know he has a certain style and he wants people to be able to do certain things. McTominay, as everybody is paid any type of attention or looked at anything in terms of Manchester United, we all know he has limitations, and we all know that between him and McFred, they both have reached their ceiling on what they can contribute to a team, and everybody's figured them out as well in terms of opponents. So you need somebody, like Stu said, with the experience and with the level-headedness, not only for the midfield, but also for the defense, because you need somebody in front of you who you can trust and who you're not going to be sitting back there as 2 center backs going, oh shit, when's this guy going to make his next mistake, and we're going to be under pressure and we got to go make a tackle, And then, sorry, real quick, just to mention real quick on Varane, I don't understand. I know it's been a history thing for him, but god damn it, how can you be a center back and be that injury prone? It just frustrates the hell out of me. Like, for me,
he's
not center back.
He's not old school Hammer like us.
I mean, I know, but like, it's just as for me, and I'm from the States too, and like I played American football. I was an offensive lineman. They're the 2 similar type positions, not in what they do, but it's like what you look at when you look at those positions. They shouldn't be, even if you get hurt, And I get it. If it was a sprained ankle, all right, sure. But it sounds like it wasn't that bad of a sprained ankle anyways. You know what I mean? If he's coming back so soon. So, you just got to be a little bit tougher, in my opinion, when it comes to center backs. And then, overall, I agree with the notion Stu was saying. If we're going to get Casemiro comfortable into this side, it needs to start as soon as possible in this game coming up, this week coming up on Sunday as well. We need to get him. It can't just be training. We need to get him playing legitimate games with the rest of the squad to get used to playing with them.
Yeah. We'll just quickly welcome Stel onto the channel. An Omonia fan, which is we didn't think this would be happening tonight, but here he is.
Random, isn't it? Random.
It is random. Yeah, great though.
Yeah, we'll just say a quick hi. I just want to go to Anton next to get his thoughts on Casemiro because he brought it up, but then we'll come back to you. And I think Stu will have some questions to fire at you actually because I think
I will do.
Stu is interested in this opposition, so yeah, we'll come back to that. But Anton, your quick thoughts on Casemiro style. You alluded to it earlier that you wanted to see it, but what could you embellish on that? Why is that? And is it just time for McTominay to sit out or? Maybe both of them. I can't see it being both of them tonight, but going forward, there could be the option to play them both. Maybe.
I mean, it's Casemiro. It's Casemiro. He's won 5 Champions Leagues. He's been a linchpin in Madrid's midfield for the past, majority of the decade. It's Casemiro and it's McTominay. I don't think there's really much more to it. I think it might have been Stu on the pre-match stream for the Manchester City match who said. There comes a time in football where you just have to put somebody in. You can't keep just, dipping his toe in the water for the last 20 minutes of a game. Because especially in the Premier League, it doesn't matter how good you are. If the game is already being played at 90, 100 miles an hour, you can't just step in and just acclimatize straight away. You're going to have a few stray passes. You're going to get pressed. You're going to be a bit rusty in the knees and the hips. Like you're just going to not feel at home straight away. So you need to start him from the beginning. Should have been against Manchester City. He's played against them, especially last season. He played against them twice. He knocked them out of the Champions League. And he's got all the class in the world. I think if he wasn't at Manchester United, people would be saying he's the best defensive midfielder in the world. I believe he is. It's just that he's at Manchester United that he's getting the criticism, even though he's not playing that much. He's under the magnifying glass and he's getting all the stick. I think tomorrow is the perfect game for him to start. And I think if he doesn't, you have to really question why we bought him because it's been too long now. Obviously, we were in for De Jong the whole summer and apparently we still are. Well, Ten Hag is still in for De Jong. Maybe Manchester United might not be, but I think you can clearly see that Casemiro was a panic and he wasn't a Ten Hag signing. Doesn't mean he's not a great player because he is, but it's just not the person Ten Hag really wanted to come in and control that midfield and build the team around. And I think it's really clear to see, as I said, he's still a good player, still the best in his position, but it just goes to show what kind of a club Manchester United is in terms of we just can't deliver for any manager that we have. Ten Hag's the best thing to happen to Manchester United in a very long time, and we still can't deliver the number one target he wanted. I hope Casemiro plays tomorrow. And look, even if he has a dodgy game, he's still getting hopefully at least 70 minutes in the tank. It's just dusting off the rust. And for the Everton game, if he starts against Omonia, or I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Actually, that sounds a bit wrong.
It will do. It will do.
We'll soon find out on that one. Yeah,
that sounds like something else. But if he starts tomorrow, he really should be starting against Everton because I think Hammer said it, including Fred as well, who seems to be frozen out. Fred and McTominay, they have reached their ceiling. Those 4 games that McTominay played and helped us win, that's probably the best you're going to see from him. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's not really good enough, is it? If you want to win titles and major European trophies, I think Casemiro needs to start, and I'll be very confused. And I hope an inquest is opened if he doesn't. So that's my opinion on that.
Okay, let's move on from Casemiro. I feel like we've covered Casemiro a lot of times because it has been a bit bewildering that he's not managed to get into the squad, into the team. But yeah, maybe this
we'll have him. We'll have him if you don't want him.
If you can afford his way. Go on, then.
That's a London accent, then, is it, pal? It sounds a bit southern to me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Look, we're passionate Man United fans here. We've had a rough week. We've had 4 weeks without football, and it's a really important game for us. And it doesn't matter the level of opposition. It's just an important game. It's a game that we have to win. But what I'm interested in is where you feel you could get at us. What type of play, whether you're fluid or whether you'll try and strangle and suffocate us during the game. Whether or not you attack with your wing backs, or do you attack inverted in terms of your two central midfield players, or you're attacking central midfield players. And have you got somebody dangerous up front that can put the ball in the back of the net? I know there's a few questions there, but yeah.
No, that's fine. Do you know what? To answer your question, I have to go back maybe 2-3 years, and I'll tell you why. We were taken over in 2018. We had financial difficulties. We still do. And the club almost went bankrupt, and we were bought out by a Cypriot American businessman, and he completely changed the whole scope of the club. Brought in a technical director, then he appointed Henning Berg as head coach, who, as you know, was at United for a few years, winning the treble. And in Berg's first season, we finished first, albeit COVID permitting. That put a halt to our season, but we were awarded the title. And then the following season, we qualified for the Europa League, or should I say group stages of Europe for the first time in our history. We beat Red Star Belgrade on penalties. And it was a fantastic season. We won the league officially for the first time in a decade. And then last season, the shit hit the fan with Berg. He was playing a 4-4-2 system or a 4-2-3-1. There was a lot of changes in the background, players picking up injuries left, right, and centre. We had the new strength and conditioning coach, and everything just fell apart for us. And in Cyprus, what you got the league, and then it splits in half like in Scotland. So the top 6 teams play in like a playoff against each other, and their points accumulated. Then I added on to the points of the regional season, and you get your title winners, your this and that. And we fell outside that stage. We fell 7th for the first time in our history. So there was no chance of us qualifying for Europe via the league. So it was only the cup. But we lost 4-2 to our rivals, Aboel, who are perhaps the most famous Cypriot team, given that they got to the quarterfinals back in 2012, I believe, when they beat Lyon. So we've been living in their shadow. We couldn't qualify for the top 6. So Berg was shown the door. In comes Neil Lennon at a time where there was a lot of uncertainty around the club, players perhaps not performing like they should. Certain behavior problems in and around the club. The technical director was sacked. The vice president of the club had a bomb detonated outside his house. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened a lot of stuff happened. I mean, the club put up a $100,000 reward to find who did it, and they still can't find who did it. I have my suspicions, but I'm not going to go into that because the club was born out of politics back in 48, which again is a long-winded story. But yeah, so Lennon came in, we won the cup, and to be honest, our cup run was really good. We beat Anorthodoxy, who are one of our rivals. We beat them comfortably away from home in the first leg, beat them in the second leg just about, had 10 men for 80 minutes. Got to the final against a team that was already relegated, and we were down to 10 men after 5 minutes. So we played the full 90 minutes plus extra time and won on penalties. So I was there for that game as well, which was immense for me anyway. But as you could tell, I lost a lot of hair. So yeah, Lennon has turned things around, and we had an interesting summer. Now, the Cypriot League is very different to the Premier League, to various leagues. It's not abnormal to see clubs get rid of 10, 15 players and bring in 10, 15 players. We were one of those clubs up until the new regime. So we might let go 6 or 7 players in the summer and bring in 6 or 7. This summer, we started on the front foot. We signed a player called Bruno Felipe, who was at Sheriff. They beat Real Madrid last season. He was in that team.
Yeah, they did.
We in the group as well.
That's right,
Yes.
We
brought in Brandon Barker, who obviously was at Man City, had a few injury problems at Glasgow Rangers, but we brought him in. Lennon obviously knows him, so we brought him in. We brought in Adam Matthews, the right back from Charlton, who famously played against Messi. I think the Celtic beat them 1-0 that game against Barcelona. And that was it for our transfers. And we're thinking, what's going on? Like, aren't we bringing in any more players? Meanwhile, our rivals were bringing in 6 or 7, 8, 9 players.
This sounds familiar.
Oh, mate, honestly, yeah, but don't forget, Man City can afford to pay their players. Our rivals, they still owe players that have since left the club. They're like 20 odd million in debt, and I don't even know how they're surviving. But anyway, I don't want to talk about them because they're fascists. Anyway, yeah, so we were struggling with bringing in players, and we were thinking, is it the administration? Are they just keeping their hands in their pockets? Because we're still 18 odd million euros in debt, don't forget, and we're relying on free transfers and loans. And slowly, we started bringing in players. We brought in a midfielder from Rennes in France called Casemiro for $1.5 million, which is our club record signing. So we were quite shocked to see him come. We signed Karim and Sifarad from AEK Athens. He's an Iranian striker who'll probably be playing at the World Cup. He was called up by Queiroz recently after a couple of years at the club. In the wilderness, so to speak. Henning Berg was sacked as Blackburn manager. Yeah, well, Henning Berg did wonders for us, I'll tell you that. But he's still in Cyprus, actually. He's managing another club, which I'm going to go into in a bit if you want. So as for the signings that we made, Felipe's done okay since coming. And Sifarad's still settling. We brought in Gary Hooper on a free transfer, who's famously at Celtic. He hasn't played many games because he didn't have a pre-season. So we signed him literally on deadline day. So yeah, we've made some interesting signings this summer, but in terms of like a starting lineup, the thing is with Lennon at the moment, we don't exactly know his best lineup or his best team. Against Sheriff in the first game, we went 4-2-3-1. It didn't work out. We got hammered, even though it wasn't really a 3-0 scoreline. But anyway, that's another story for another time. And then we went to Sociedad and played a 5-3-2. And while I admit Sociedad were probably in second gear, had it not been for some defensive naivety from us, we probably would have come away with a draw because we equalised with 15 minutes to go and we're chasing for a win. I'm thinking, why are you going for the win? They're going to hit us on the counter any time. They've got so much pace in that team, so much energy. And again, it's the defensive naivety. And I think it's the excitement of being at this level. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these players haven't played Europa League. They haven't played at a higher level. But then we've got a lot of players who have played in World Cups and European Championships and Champions Leagues and Europa League. So we just need to get that mixture right. So that's the long answer to your question, mate. I don't think I've even answered it.
Yeah, I mean, look, knowing Lennon, he plays a very aggressive type of football, but a fluid type of football. He's always on the front foot. You're absolutely right. He won't look to defend. He won't look to hold a lead, and that's basically how Scottish football was. It's very easy for you to attack if you got the types of players that he had at his disposal there. So he's not learning European football. He's not learning Cypriot football, I'm guessing, and he'll do that. I think he'll go with a different approach tomorrow anyway, and I think he'll try and get something out of the game. He probably won't be looking at a win, with all due respect. I'm not saying
no, absolutely.
But I think he'll try and get something. And if you do get an early goal, I think he'll try and sit tomorrow. What we need to do is hit you hard immediately. We've got to hit you hard for the first 10, 15 minutes, and we've got to go 1 or 2 up and then make it an easy night's work for us. But it's never easy when you go away to teams that are unknown to us, really. Because you're right, it's Applewell Nicosia, if that's how you pronounce it. We know. Yeah. We didn't know, enough about this club. So, who's your danger player then? If we've got to look out for someone tomorrow, who can make you tick as a unit?
It's difficult to say because the reason why I say this is because it depends on the system that we play. Now, if we go with wing backs, the 2 dangerous players we have are Jan Lesiak, a Czech Republic left back, who the season before last got 16 assists. And he was very good at going forward. Very good at going forward and putting the ball in the box. Then we had a striker called Marko Šepović, who's a good friend of mine, Serbian striker. And he was heading in balls left, right and centre. You weren't a problem. Prior to that, he had a pretty decent first season with Matt Derbyshire up front, assisting him. But Matt since left, obviously.
Sorry. Is that Matt Derbyshire, the former
It is, isn't it? That's the name from the past, isn't it? Crikey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I interviewed Matt on our podcast the other day. Actually, Matt's a good mate. I mean, had it not been for him, I don't think our podcast would be where it is at the moment because he's been really supportive. So yeah, he's given us a couple of interviews and helped us out, get other players on board and everything. So it's been an interesting ride so far. But yeah, so obviously Matthews at right wing back, if he plays at right wing back, which I'm assuming he will, because he's our regular right wing back and he's very reliable. He can cause problems going forward. But in terms of an attacking sense, we've signed a Ukrainian striker called Roman Bezos, who was at Ghent last season. And while he's started a little bit slow for us, he scored a couple of bangers. And I think if he plays in a number 10 role, I fully expect him to drop deep in central midfield, because our two best central midfielders, Bashiru, who we signed from Nottingham Forest last season, he's out for 6 weeks. And Kasama, the new signing, he's just come back from a hamstring injury. He got it against Sociedad. So our two central midfielders are Hambos, a teenage midfielder. I say teenage, he's like 19, 20 now. He came through our youth academy via Arsenal, believe it or not. And a player called Mix Discarud. Does that name ring a bell?
Not with me.
Yes, I don't know where I know
New
that
York
name from.
Red Bull.
He's an American.
NYCFC, yeah.
He's American. He was in the national teams for a short amount of time, but he kind of fell off a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Well, this is it. You know, we got him through Henningberg, and he's been a revelation for us. You know, first few months he struggled, but now he's kind of got used to the physicality of the Cypriot League, because it is honestly, when you see the type of tackles that go in that league, you're thinking, is this football? Is it rugby? Honestly.
Ooh, I like that.
So yeah, but I think Bezos will be a good shout for us. He'll make things tick in the middle of the park. We've got an exciting winger called Loizu, and this lad, we joke around saying that he's like our Messi, you know, good left foot, very small, low center of gravity. But I tell you what, he's been scouted by a lot of clubs in Europe, and we had a little problem with him at the beginning of the season because a Dutch club came in for him, an unnamed Dutch club, and he refused to play for us. And then his dad went on social media to talk about the club, and then his dad actually wanted to jump on our podcast to talk about the situation. Then the head of the Omonia Academy messaged me saying, please don't have him on, because we're trying to solve this situation. It's just going to blow everything out of proportion. So I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, we'll leave it as it is. But he went on strike, didn't play. They threw him in the under-19s. And then all of a sudden, flick of a switch, he signs a new contract and he's back in the first team. And he's a good little player. But I think he won't cause United as many problems as we'd like him to, because he doesn't have that physicality, because he's still a kid. And playing in the Cypriot League and then playing against United is a completely different level.
Go hit him once.
It's completely different.
I won't worry too much because we're not physical either.
But the thing is, a good thing I will say for us is that if he comes against Luke Shaw, he's got the beating of him. And this isn't a disrespect to Luke Shaw. I just think that Luke Shaw is very flat-footed as a fullback. And little Loy, he loves that. He loves running at fullbacks, you know? So we've got that. But then we've got Bruno Felipe. We've got Karim up front. So we've got a few players. But again, you're talking about different level here. This is Man United.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be technically better. They're going to be physically better. They're going to be quicker on the ball. I expect most of the ball to be in our half most of the time, you know, but we still got a few players that could cause problems on the counter. We've got a youngster called Gaguli, 21-year-old striker. He's rapid. His mum used to be a sprinter for the Cypriot athletics team. So we know where he gets that pace from. And look, we pride ourselves on our academy, much like Man United. We've produced some very good players over the years. One of our recent youngsters, Johnny, has gone to Sporting Kansas in MLS, and he's doing well for a Cypriot player abroad. You know, and there's a lot of parallels with United and Omonia in terms of the way that the club is run, the DNA. In fact, there's actually another Omonia that play in the second division who, much like FC United, were opposed to the ownership, and they went and created their own team. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
George Best played for us once. George Best played for us once in a friendly.
Well, in that case, you're all right with us.
You're all right. You're all right. You're all right in our book.
You're all right, my pal.
I bet you didn't think you'd be playing against Cristiano Ronaldo anytime, at any point.
Mate,
but
that could be the situation. 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't even think we would have a club.
No.
You know,
it's great, isn't it? It's a good story. It's a great story, to be fair.
Yeah.
Look at that. American owners actually doing something good.
well, there's still a few people that don't like it, but to be honest, he's not. I wouldn't say he's controlling the ship. He's kind of like sitting, because I think he bought a bank in Chicago recently, if I'm not mistaken. But it's his vice president.
Was on in America.
Well, you should see Cyprus, mate. I could tell you stories. Anyway. But yeah, look, it's been an amazing adventure for us to be where we are now, where we were in comparison to 2018, even before that. It's remarkable. So yeah, we've got to tip our hat off to the owner, but we've got to tip our hat off to the players, the staff who don't get enough credit.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. We're going to quickly get back to our pan. I don't know if you're sticking around still, or you?
As long as you want me to wrap it on, it's fine.
Well, we're going to get touch on Ronaldo, and then we're going to do some do a predicted 11. But you're welcome to chip in your thoughts on that whilst we're going through it. Stu, does Ronaldo play tomorrow night? Does Martial play? Do they both play? What happens? Tell me.
Look, I would play Ronaldo through the middle. Look, on Sunday, I would have played Ronaldo through the middle, Martial on the left, and Anthony on the right. That would have been my favourite front three. That would be my favourite front three tomorrow. I've been on record as saying Martial's not the perfect number 9. He isn't. He hasn't got that 6-yard instinct. You know my thoughts on where 9s live, where they play. They should be mopping anything up from the 12-yard penalty spot onwards. That's where they should be. And we're just not getting the ball in. And Martial, I think, is better cutting in from the left. And he'll serve Ronaldo. He will serve Ronaldo.
He'll connect as well.
Yeah, Ronaldo needs to be fed. So he should play. Absolutely no two ways about it. He should get a brace of goals and he should come off and he should be prepared, ready for Sunday. So it's a no-brainer for me. He's got to play.
Yeah. Anton, what's your thoughts on it? Is it? I mean, Ten Hag touched on not wanting to disrespect him by bringing him on in the situation on Sunday. No, I don't mean any disrespect to Omonia, but is this disrespecting him playing him in this game? Is this beneath him, or do you reckon he just want to play and just prove himself again?
When I heard Ten Hag say that, I was a bit confused because you're a footballer, you're a striker, you are the highest goal scorer in the history of the game. I mean, we were 6-3 or whatever, but Martial came on and scored a brace. That could have been Ronaldo. He could have done that. I do think he'll start, although I don't really want him to. I keep saying it. I'm over the hype of Ronaldo now at Manchester United. I fully accepted the fact that he's slowing down and we have better options in that position. I think Martial should start. I always believe that we should try and win the game as early as possible and then bring on the reinforcement. Start Martial, start Anthony on the left, and I'd put Garnacho start Anthony on the right and put Garnacho on the left. And then if hopefully we're up 2 or 3 goals at half time, then you make the substitutions. Then Ronaldo comes on and hopefully gets a couple of goals. That's how I would do it. I wouldn't start him. I think even if he plays or not, we still win, to be honest with you. That's why I'm not as bothered. But if he's not going to play against Everton on the weekend, I definitely put Martial in to get that match fitness up and get more confidence in him, get more goals under his belt. That would be my way of approaching it. Yeah,
I would tend to agree with your stance. I'm kind of I'm at the same stage and have been for a while. Hammer, where are you at with it? I mean, it's I don't want to keep talking about it, to be honest with you, but it keeps coming up in press conferences, and it's obviously it was going to be a circus. Maybe it's not a circus at the moment, but it was going to be a heavy discussion point throughout the season because we knew he wasn't going to feature as much as he has done all the way through his career, and it's kind of materializing that way. But how do you think it plays out tomorrow? And
I think he does start. Oddly enough, I think Ten Hag he doesn't want to disrespect him, yada yada, all that stuff. But like he's gonna play him at some point, and I think Martial did well, but because he came off a hamstring, right? If I'm remembering correctly, I don't like playing with hamstrings. So even if he is starting on Sunday, I wouldn't want. What I'm saying is, let's say he's starting on Sunday, I wouldn't want him starting 2 games in a row, coming 2 games in the same week, coming off a hamstring. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why Ronaldo will start. I think it hasn't turned into a circus. You're right, but it's getting a little bit a pain in the ass now. Yeah. So I think eventually it's going to turn into Ronaldo moving on. Whether that's in January or whether it becomes a painstakingly long season with Ronaldo memes off the bench, and we got to wait till the summer for him to move on. And also, I just want to say real quick on what the comments were. I'll be honest, I know some people didn't like it. The way he put it, didn't want to embarrass him, whatever. I think I didn't mind it because as great as Ronaldo was or is or could be or whatever, what was it, 4-0 down against City? I'm sorry, not even Ronaldo saving us 4-0 down against City. So there wasn't really any point to bring him on. And then the headlines would have been, oh, look at that, right? United finished losing 6-1, 6-2, whatever it ends up being with Ronaldo on the field. Yeah. So that's where I think that was coming from. I don't think he was saying like, oh, I don't want to, I'm walking on eggshells around Ronaldo. I think he was like, there was no point in even bringing on Ronaldo because nobody was going to say that the scoreline.
Yeah, I found the comments from Ten Hag a little bit strange because he's saying he didn't want to disrespect him, but Ronaldo clearly wanted to come on in it. So
that's just Ronaldo because in Ronaldo's head he could go and Ronaldo will help us score 5 goals or we'll 5-4. That's what Ronaldo was thinking. He's not going to do that anymore. But also I just want to say real quick, Ten Hag in interviews, I think, and sometimes the stuff he says comes off a little weird, but I think he does it on purpose. I think he keeps his actual full thoughts very close to the chest, and he just gives us what he wants to give us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Stel, we'll just come to you quickly because who do you want to see playing against you tomorrow? Do you want to see a weaker United team, or do you want to see the big guns and just for the spectacle of it? What's your take on that side of it?
To be honest, I don't think there is a weak United team. In all fairness, I look at the players that United have got compared to ours, and it's a total mismatch. But I just think because it's a one-off game to happen in Cyprus, like we've never had United in Cyprus before. I mean, we had Real Madrid, but they played them lot. But yeah, it's a massive deal for Cyprus. Massive. There's thousands of United fans out there as well. One of my co-hosts, we've had both of my co-hosts are United fans as well as Omonia fans. United's my English team, so it's an interesting one. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it should be good for the locals as well. Anyway, there's not.
I mean, there's going to be 23,000 there for sure. And if the atmosphere is anything like the cup final where they had the smoke bombs and their flares and fireworks in the stadium, it could be interesting. But that pitch might be a problem because 3 teams play on that pitch, and it's also used for European games for Cypriot teams.
Oh, right.
So it could
But it'd be a good away for the travelling fans as well, because I think a lot of the away support were looking forward to some of these trips because places that they've not been before, and the Europa League kind of throws up that sort of thing. So yeah,
it's 30 degrees in Cyprus, mate. They'll love it.
Absolutely.
A bit jealous then.
My freaking jersey's been getting
stuck here in the rain.
That storm that was in Florida. We're not getting anything crazy. We're just getting a shit ton of rain the last 2 days.
Sounds like where I am. Right, we're going to do some predicted 11s. Stella, you're welcome to get involved in this if you wish to get involved in it, and if you don't, just tell me to fuck off. And,
I don't mind.
Right. So, Stu, who are you having in goal, and what's your what's Ten Hag going to pick as his back line? I mean, his centre backs. Picks for him, I think, for everybody else, because he's only got 2 in the squad. Yeah. So
I would go with good old Dubravka.
Yeah,
I'd start him. Actually, to be fair, I'll give him a run out. Wan-Bissaka at right back, Shaw at left back, and then it's going to have to be, isn't it, Lindelof and Martinez? That would be. That's what I would do.
Out.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka's out.
He's out. What the fuck is going on?
He's still injured.
I think so.
That means we've got to see that clown Dallo play again. As much as I can appreciate an improvement, he just doesn't know how to defend. And we saw it again Sunday. He upends Grealish quite easily. Yes, it wasn't a booking, and then he goes into a shell for 10 minutes. He's got to put it and get on and play football. So it's going to have to be Dallo then, Lindelof, Martinez, and I will play Luke Shaw.
Yep. Anton, what are you thinking? Ten Hag will go for and like we said, 3 of his decisions are arguably made anyway. So I'm kind of really just asking you who's in goal and who's at left back, really.
I agree. It's going to be. I would hope it's Dubravka and Shaw. Yeah. Dubravka is a good keeper for anybody who doesn't think he is. He's a good keeper.
Decent.
His debut against United will forever live in my memory. one of the best goalkeeping performances I've ever seen. So hopefully he can reproduce that. I mean, he's not going to replace De Gea as first choice, but if he can get De Gea, on his toes a little bit, that would be nice. But I would expect him to start.
Agreed.
Yeah, I remember liking him when he first turned up at Newcastle. At least he was
the stinker at the Euros, though. So
yeah. He was in my fantasy team for a bit.
It's funny you mentioned Dubravka because one of my friends, Mikel Duris, used to play for Omonia, Slovakian striker, and he played with Dubravka for the Slovakian national team. And a few months ago, when the Dubravka deal happened with United, I messaged him, goes, "What's going on?" He goes, "Yeah, it's happening. Don't worry, it's going to happen." I was like, "Okay, fine. You know him better than I do, obviously." So good keeper.
Yeah, nice. It's one that made sense for me. I think is a good level. It's maybe doesn't make as much sense for him as much as because obviously going to be a number 2 when he would want to be a number 1. You would have thought, but for us, it's a good quality keeper that's not going to be expecting to play above De Gea at least, but maybe has the capability to do so. That's another argument for another day. Hammer, who's going to be in goal and who's going to be at left back? Because I'm just going to take your
Tom
take your answers to be the same.
No, Dubravka obviously, and I mean it has to be Shaw also a little bit because I mean, damn, we've been running Malacia into the goddamn ground. I think the kid needs a break a little bit, especially if we're expecting a top performance on Sunday too. So,
yeah, I think it feels like a good time to rest Malacia, and he had a bit of a shakier one, a bit of a. I don't know, not a reality check as such on Sunday, but it wasn't one of his better performances. So yeah,
I think the whole team got a reality check.
Yeah, Stel, on same question to you, mate. Who's going to be in goal for United? Do you think, and who's going to play left back? Do you think
it will probably be De Gea in goal, back for Dalot, Martinez, Lindelof, and Shaw. Midfield, I'm guessing you'll go with Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and Fred. And I think up top it'll go Ronaldo, Martial, and Elanga, I think.
Maybe I'll come back to you on that one because we'll go through it as we go through the team. So we're doing. I should have explained that to you. Go midfield, never do forwards. No, it's my bad. It's terrible hosting. Terrible hosting. I'm going to agree with everybody else on the panel apart from Stel. I'm afraid. I think he'll be Dubravka. I think he's got to get some games at some point. It's not going to be a league game. He's got to, hasn't he? So, but. He does like to go strong. Anyway, Stu, midfield 3 of whatever configuration you think it's going to be. Is it?
Yeah, dead easy for me. I'd play Casemiro, Fred, and Eriksen. Yeah, I wouldn't mess around. That's what I'd do. Very straightforward pick for me. I think Bruno needs a rest and a bit of a reality check.
Fair dues. Anton, what are you thinking in midfield? Now, I will play devil's advocate and say Bruno did the press conference this morning, so that would seem to hint that he's going to play. I would say. But what are your thoughts on what Ten Hag will do?
To be fair, I didn't actually see the press conference. I've been packing. I'm not going to lie. I've done a good job to make my room look somewhat presentable because I'm moving out tomorrow actually to Liverpool, so I haven't watched anything. Caught up.
Liverpool?
Yeah. It's a nice city.
No, it isn't a nice city, but don't can't say that in public.
I wear my United shirt in town, so I'm a true supporter. It's risky, but I'm there. Yeah. It's gonna be, in my opinion, Fred's and Casemiro. Although I don't like Fred, they play together for Brazil, so they do have a good relationship already, and they are quite good together. I think they complement each other. I don't want to see it in the Prem, but I'm happy with it tomorrow. I did agree with Stu when he said Eriksen, but now that you said Bruno Fernandes done the press conference, I will have to say Bruno's going to start, surely. So I think it will be Fred, Casemiro, and Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. But I will be interested to see if it's a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, because whatever formation, Fred is going to be either the second sitting or the box to box.
Yeah.
So
I think it can work in either setup. I think there, but we'll be interesting to see. I do think it's almost nailed on to be Casemiro and Fred, especially with no Van de Beek and Eriksen's played a lot of games, hasn't he? Since he joined. So Bruno just plays every game anyway, doesn't he? Hammer, what are you thinking? Are you Brazilians and one of Eriksen or Bruno? Have you got a bit of a wild card selection for me?
I was gonna be stupid and say something like Zidane or Iqbal or something, but let me be a little serious. I mean, it probably is gonna be what everyone's saying. I'll be honest too, but one between Bruno getting some rest, but also I want to see Eriksen in that more advanced role because shit, if he could do a little bit more, also a little bit more in terms of what Ten Hag might like to see. Shit, even with Bruno in the captain's armband, he's gonna have to think a little bit and be more on his toes when he is playing.
So you're going for Eriksen over Bruno, is what you think?
For tomorrow, yeah.
For tomorrow, yeah. Cool. And Stel, remind me of what yours was because I have forgotten.
The midfield?
Yeah, your midfield, yeah.
Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno. Yep. That's what I think it'll be. Spoiler alert. Right, Stu, are you going for forwards? I think.
I'm going to go with Ronaldo, Martial, and Anthony.
Anthony.
Yeah, that'll be my starting three.
I feel like this is one of those occasions where the three Anthonys possibly could work. Well, maybe it's going to be a game. It's going to be a game like this, isn't it? But maybe not. Maybe not tomorrow. Anton, what are you thinking? Ten Hag does.
What I think he's going to do is Elanga, Ronaldo, and Anthony. However, that's really not what I want to see. I want to see Garnacho start. I want to see Martial through the middle. Don't give him the full 90. Give him 60, 65 minutes. And I do want to see Anthony on the right because I'm enjoying him at the moment. If he can keep up his goal scoring form, that'll be very good.
I'll take another one like Sunday, definitely. Hammer, what are you going for his front three tomorrow? Plenty of options.
Yeah, I think I'll agree. I know this doesn't keep it a more entertaining show or whatever, but I think I'll agree again with Stu. I think Anthony has just been playing really well, and he doesn't seem to be getting tired or things like that. And damn, the kid's got a shot on him. I knew he was good, but I thought he was a creative type player as well. But he's got a shot on him. And yeah, I think Tony is effective on the left or down the middle. So I'd like to see Tony start, especially coming off that brace. But I know, like I said before, I'll also say he should come out early if you plan on playing him as well.
Yeah. Stel, what did you go for your forward line?
Ronaldo, Elanga, and Martial.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, you went with Elanga and Martial. Yeah, Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think. I think I've got a bit of a decision to make there. I think Martial's going to start. I think Ronaldo will start, and I think Anthony will start, and they're the ones with the most votes. Though, would you be happy with that side, Stu? And what sort of result do you think we can get with that? Are you expecting goals, or?
Yeah, with all due respect to our esteemed guest, I think it'd be 4-0 win, and Ronaldo will get a brace.
4-0
power. Just out of like headers and power and shit like that.
Yeah, and I think Ronaldo will get a brace. I really do.
Cool. I just need to note that down 1 sec. My computer has just decided to be the slowest thing in the world, so bear with me. 4-0. Are you going Ronaldo first goal? Yeah.
I am indeed. Yeah, get a brace. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Anton, what are you going for your score prediction and your first goal scorer, mate?
I don't know. I can really see us conceding just the one. I think it'll be 4 or 5-1, and the first goal scorer, if he starts, it will be Anthony. I think
Anthony. So going 5-1.
I'll go 5-1. Yeah.
Y'all expecting a real answer after this loss, huh?
Yeah, no, we have to.
Yeah,
you think Ten Hag will let us get away with a 1 or 2-0?
Yeah,
we just got battered 6-3. I think we have to. I know it's not against the team from the top 5 leagues, but there has to be some sort of statement to show that the attitude of the players has changed or developed over the past year and a half or so. I think because before we'd be 2 or 3 goals up and then we take the foot off the gas. We need to be 2 or 3-0 up and push it down even harder.
Yeah,
I think that's the difference.
I think this is me just being cynical, and they haven't, and I don't think they're going to. I think a certain percentage of them are going to be gone under the Ten Hag regime because they've shown that they haven't been able to change. But for that question, I will go 3-0 as a win for us. I don't think we're going to batter in 4 or 5 plus goals and stuff like that, unfortunately. And first goal scorer, I will go Anthony to ride his momentum and do a little bit more Brazilian magic coming off the right there.
Yeah, man. I just want to see some goals. But still, what do you want to see? Since United are your English side, and Omonia are your actual team, what do you want to see, and what do you think will happen scoreline wise?
Well, I want to see is an Omonia win. That's what I want to see.
Not like a 5-5 draw, no.
No. Do you know, I was winding up Rodri Giggs earlier today on my pod. I was saying to him, we're going to win 1-0. He goes, "Oh, shut up," this and that. But I honestly believe that we can get something out of this game. I honestly believe we can get something out of this game, like a 1-1. I don't think we'll get 2 goals, but I could see like a 1-1 because of just the way that we play against European opposition, the style that we play. We're going to try and suffocate United, as Stu said earlier. But do I honestly believe it's going to happen? No. I believe it's going to be a 3 or 4-0. But listen, stranger things happen, especially with this club. You know, it's just it's a roller coaster ride. Just buckle up.
Absolutely.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I know Donnie's out, but I wanted to say something about it. That must have been like a shot in his heart when that report came out. Donnie's surplus and he can leave that shit must have sucked to hear coming from Ten Hag.
I think I've missed that, but yeah, he's going to be.
I did.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed. These are the sort of games where he needs to be playing and staking some sort of claim. And if he's missing these fixtures, then I mean, I think it is because of injury, isn't it? Not because he's been dropped or anything. But it's a shame for him. It looks like it's only heading one way at the moment. Right, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Anyway, so thanks to Stealth for coming on. Do you want to plug your podcast? I mean, I'm not sure how many followers you're going to get from a United fan base, but you can do it anyway, and I'll be kind enough to follow you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, the podcast is called No Choftes. Choftes is a Cypriot word for nonsense, so it's like no nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we are. We don't mess about when it comes to the pod. We tell it like it is, and I think because of the way that we put out our content, we've got a good listener base in Cyprus, in the UK, and there's a lot of Omonia fans around the world. You know, it's just no one really knows too much about it because we're a small team. But given the invasion of Turkey and Cyprus in '74, a lot of refugees, like my mum, for example, they all came to the UK or America and Australia, and slowly they have children. Hello. And we've got quite a big fan base. We've only got like 1,800 subs, which ain't a massive amount. But when you bear in mind that there's 8,000 season ticket holders, I like to think that we've got a quarter of the fan base anyway. So yeah.
Sounds like it's going well. Good. Well, give that a follow, guys. It doesn't hurt you, does it? And it's always good to have opposition fans on and giving us some insight. It's been brilliant to have you on, especially things like there's a little bit of a. Yeah, bit of allegiance with the United, bit of symmetry there. So yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, and as ever, make sure you're following all of our panel. You can see there are Twitter handles there, and stay tuned to All for United throughout the week. Stu, will you doing something for the Everton game, tactical preview wise? I imagine, or you?
I've got to get. Me and Abdul have been struggling to get together for a week or two due to business commitments, etc. So we are trying to do something. So we'll either do something before, or more than likely it'll be on the Monday. We'll record ready for Tuesday.
Yeah. Are you guys going to the game at Old Trafford?
Well, I've got tickets, so yeah, potentially I'll be there on my.
I'll be there. I'll see you there. I'll see you there.
Are you going? Are you? Great.
Yeah. Well, there's 4,500 of us going, so it's going to be. It's going to be
nice.
Fun. Put it that way.
It should be a good one. Right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Enjoy the game. I think the next time we'll see you probably be Sunday night after the Everton game for a last word.
Yeah, we've got last word. Yeah,
So until then, we will see you later. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Tap.
Hey, guys.